Greetings Tenno, I'm Astachi and today I'll be showing you the standouts from the newly revised status proc system in Warframe. If you don't know, Warframe Revised has just dropped, and with it comes a slew of changes. Chief among them a revision of the status chance system. Until now, status chance has been capped at 100%, whereas crit chance could go as high as you can manage with your weapon. Now, weapons with status chance above 100% guarantee a single proc and have a chance at a second proc, weapons above 200% status chance guarantee 2 procs and can get a third, and so on and so forth. While this changes how ranged weapons work, especially shotguns and the Cooper Brock, I'll instead be focusing on how this affects the melee meta. Until today, the undisputed kings of the melee meta were crit weapons such as the Redeemer and Reaper Prime. This is about to change, as I'll demonstrate today with 2 new kings of the meta. The Plague Kiwa has long been overshadowed by its big cousin, the Plague Kripath. However, the Kiwa's edge and status chance now brings it to the fore as the best option for dealing with high-level enemies. Please note that neither Warframe Arcanes nor Rivens will be used throughout this demonstration, to show that these builds are accessible to mid-game players and are not just super-uber endgame content. The Plague Kiwa has long been overshadowed by its big cousin, the Plague Kripath. However, the Kiwa's edge and status chance now brings it to the fore as the best option for dealing with high-level enemies. Please note that neither Warframe Arcanes nor Rivens will be used throughout this demonstration, to show that these builds are accessible to mid-game players and are not just super-uber endgame content. Now, to leverage the Kiwa's strong base status, one must choose an Aquana 2 Jai Link and a P grip for speed and the Scythe weapon type, like so. For status weapons, Condition Overload is the obvious choice for damage boost over Primed Pressure Point. Primed Reach gives us much needed range for such a short-handled weapon, and then a combination of Weeping Wounds, Vicious Frost, and Virulent Scourge, plus Drifting Contact give us status chance. In this case, we reach about 230% once Weeping Wounds is fully charged. Berserker is used as a filler item here in place of a Riven, and of course Viral is superior, so we're adding Primed Fever Strike for an additional damage boost. I've chosen Viral for this build as the new Viral stat gives you 325% additional damage at full stacks. Now, let's see this in action. What I have here are 8 level 140 Corrupted Heavy Gunner Exami, considered some of the strongest units you might encounter while playing an endless mission in the star chart. Let's see how we go against them. Now, of course, there's a wind-up period as a build with a level 12 combo multiplier, but that's as to be expected with any kind of weapon using Weeping Wounds. Now, while we're doing quite well here, this is not what you would expect of a top-tier weapon. Pretty solid, but not outstanding in comparison to crit-based weapons like the Redeemer or Reaper Prime, right? As to G, why not choose a higher base status chance weapon like the Architriton? Well, informed Tenno, it's because Zors get access to Zor Arcanes, and in particular, Exodia Force. Exodia Force has a 50% chance of dealing 200% melee weapon damage in a 6-meter area of effect every time you inflict a status effect. As we've already established, we're inflicting more than 2 status effects per hit, all but guaranteeing a proc of our arcane with every swing. Let's see how much of a difference this makes against the same enemies. Here we are. Now you'll hear a secondary audio cue similar to a rolling thunder noise. That's triggering of our arcane. Let's see how we go. Now please keep in mind we're going into this cold turkey with a level 0 combo counter. As you can see, we do significantly more damage on pretty much every swing. It's a shocking difference, and in endless missions, you can very much feel the power shift. Arbitration drones can get hit by the AoE from the arcane, making Vetus farming a breeze. In addition, the very strong AoE effect means that the more enemies are in an area, you get exponentially more procs of your damage, due to the Zor and the arcane's nature. This makes it much more effective for dealing with high health targets than your conventional swap to a primary weapon, as simply hitting your primary target here does dramatically large amounts of damage to the surrounding areas. Of course, you can improve your power with a Riven, or perhaps some rarer mods, but frankly, it's not necessary. The only thing I could really expect to see would be an increased range and increased attack speed Riven. But Tenno, The title of strongest melee weapon in Warframe does not belong to the Blade Kiwa. It belongs to the daring, the deadly, Excalibur Umbra. Now, Excalibur's blade is very weak on its own. Strong damage, sure, but a measly 15% critical chance and 10% status chance makes it scale very poorly. So, DE introduced to us Chromatic Blade. Chromatic Blade is an excellent augment, one of the best in the game, for Excalibur, that gives his Exalted Blade additional status chance. Of course, most never noticed that the 50% status chance buff from Chromatic Blade was affected by ability strength, and those that did could never capitalize on more than one proc at a time, until now. You see, the status chance increase from Chromatic Blade is unique. It's an additive buff applied before multiplicative mods are applied. Thus, an Excalibur with Chromatic Blade and 300% ability strength has a base status chance on the Exalted Blade of 160%. Observe. With the build incorporating 360/60 mods and the newly buffed melee prowess, Excalibur's signature weapon now reaches a gigantic 600% status chance when you incorporate Growing Power's additional power. I've chosen to mod for viral and electricity, for DPS and crowd control respectively, but almost anything works wonders. Condition Overload provides additional damage, as does Prime Fever Strike. Quickening and Berserker are there for increased attack speed, so that you can get as many status procs in the shortest time possible. Now, let's see this build in action. Once again, we have 8 Corrupted Heavy Gunner Exami. Let's see how we go. An absolutely spectacular amount of damage in a very short time. And there we are. A meager few seconds to kill some of the toughest enemies in the game you might expect to see on the star chart. That's an astoundingly fast time to kill, of course. However, Corrupted Heavy Gunner Exami, even at level 140, are weak to viral. So, let's swap to a more notorious enemy, Auditors from the Index, well known to be some of the toughest enemies in the game. 8 level 140 Auditors, here we go. Once again, you can see they fall in short order to the sheer power of viral procs. Now, Auditors normally resist all frontal damage, but Excalibur's Blade, as a unique perk, pierces all obstacles excluding nullifier bubbles. It's worth noting that this Excalibur build does not compromise on survivability in any way. It possesses all 3 Umbral mods and adaptation. In addition, it only requires a meager 2 Former to reach this build, which is about the best you can do in this case, except for maxing out a few mods at the cost of 1 more Former. So there you have it, folks, 2 of the strongest melee weapons in the game as of March 2020. If you have any other devastating builds, tips or tricks for the new patch in regards to melee, feel free to leave them in the comments. But for now, I've been Chi, and happy hunting Tenno.